Yeah, Rishabh, has Mr. Sunil joined in?
Yes, sir. Mr. Sunil has already joined.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Sunil.
afternoon, Sunil ji. How are you? I am Dr. Pavan Gupta, Nodal Officer of IITTM Noida. Welcome you to the family of IITTM.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
So today's session will be conducted by Surya and Rishabh. So I hand over the stage to Rishabh and Surya for conducting the session. Please carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Kaur.
Surya, you there?
Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today we have Mr. Sunil Paul with us. He's working as a marketing and sales manager for Qatar National Tourism Council. He's a travel and tourism professional with more than 12 years of experience. Having traveled domestically and 50 plus destinations globally, he's dedicated to helping people reach their dreams of traveling around the world. So, here we have Mr. Sunil with us. So, please, you can start the presentation.
Sure. Thank
So
you.
Sunil ji, all the best. It's all yours now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pavan. Yes. So I thank you so much for letting me present Qatar to all of you, and it's really an honor because this is one of the first initiatives which we are taking uh, as Qatar National Tourism Council to take one step ahead to teach college and management students, and this is what we're going to do also in the future because we do have a lot of student groups coming to Qatar. We have also a fantastic education system in Qatar, and just to give you a gist of what Qatar is all about and how will you gauge and how in the future how you're going to sell and sell the product that is Qatar, and what are the things which you will see. So first of all, I'm hoping everyone's safe, everyone's at home, and even if you're traveling, be safe. And that's the same thing which we also look forward to in Qatar, and especially we are eagerly waiting for India to open up their travel plans so that we can take things, the whole travel journey starts again. I'm sure everyone has a lot of things in mind, what Qatar is all about. I'm sure everyone has in mind what's next for travel and tourism. Well, it's a phase. Right now, if you ask me, what's the best thing to do right now? What I'm also doing is learning. I'm studying again. I'm trying to build up my, you know, uh, things about a little thing in digital marketing. I'm doing a little bit with learning other destinations. I'm doing my bit of, how do we take care? What are the things we need to do when we travel? So there's certain guidelines and so on and so forth. So I'm sure by the end of the session, you will at least get a gist and know what Qatar is. I'll also give you tips of how to take it forward, and also the measures which Qatar has taken to to help their travelers coming into Qatar. Okay. First, let me just start off with a small video. Okay, just to give you a gist of what Qatar is. I'll be playing two videos. One is to give you to show what Qatar has to offer, and the last video would be to show the measures taken by Qatar if you're traveling. Yep.
Nurture and nature. But art and architecture.
Well, that was a small video which shows what Qatar is. Before we start, I wanted to know if anybody has heard about Qatar and what have you heard about Qatar? And just give me a small, thing that you've heard what Qatar is famous for. I'm just checking on the chat box. So, anyone, Al Jazeera, very good, Dipakshe. That is absolutely right. So, Al Jazeera is, I'll talk about it later on. Architecture, tapas, yes, rightly said. Anything else have you heard of from Qatar? Flights, perfect. Artificial attractions, okay. Oil and natural gas. Abhishek, Rishav, and Yashwant. Qatar Airways Hub, Sai, yes. Doha capital city. Perfect. These are the answers which I was looking for. That's great. So we can at least. I'm very happy that you all have either done your homework or you know about it. You all are well aware of what's happening in the world. So one of the most important things which we are looking forward to is the World Cup that's happening in 2022. The Football World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, which is happening in Doha. And we are the official city where we are hosting the 2022. That's correct, Rishabh. So there were many questions about Al Jazeera. Yes, it's one of the top uh, news channels in the world, and its base is in Doha. It is also one of the wealthiest countries in the world in regards to per GDP capita. Okay, the uh, the that's 1,27,000 plus dollars USD per capita. So it's one of the richest. It just took over. It's a battle between Luxembourg and Qatar. So now Qatar is taken over, and it is one of the richest. Regards, the reason being, the reason being is because of natural gas. Reason being of lots and lots of investments done across the world. Okay, so let's start off with the presentation just to give you a small idea of what are we offering. I'll take your questions later on. Okay, once we are done with the presentation, so that you can all ask me questions later on, so I don't get disturbed. So, curated for business, we have a lot of business opportunities, meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions, and events. Plus, we also have student groups. We also have leisure, people traveling for holidays. It's a destination now opened up for lots of honeymoon couples. Many people travel on weekends just for shopping because it's pretty cheap there in Qatar. So it's a hub to discover lots of things. You might have seen it in the video: the architecture, the art, the skyscrapers. There's there's amusement parks. There's cruises. There's safaris. So before we start, just to know what Qatar and how did it get its, who is governing it and where did it get its freedom from. So like India, Qatar also got its independence from British in 1971. So you can understand that it's English is widely spoken there. The family which rules now in Qatar is His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. That's also the airport named after them, the family. And he's a very influential person in the world because in regards to investment, most of the top properties are being bought by Qataris in the world, like in Manhattan in US. That's one of the most expensive skyscrapers areas in the world. So we own most of the top places. UK, Knightsbridge in UK, in London. So they're also top properties we own. All across the world, we are investing. It's because a lot of money coming in because of natural gas, and our source of, increasing the wealth is by investing in properties, buying land, and also investing in science and technology and so on and so forth. So capital city, as many mentioned, it's Doha. Okay, The local time that is compared to India is 2.5 hours behind India. Okay. Currency is Qatari Riyal. So every country you go to obviously has different currencies. The time difference. So whenever you are going to travel, or you're going to sell a destination, a product to a client, obviously these are the things which you need to look into. These are the things which you need to ask. First hand, you need to keep this in mind, because if clients are traveling, so you need to tell them that the time difference is this. If you're making a presentation on destinations, this is how you start. This is how you give a gist of what are the things available, what are the things there, like the currency, the local time. So Qatari Riyal is the currency over there. The cost, that is 1 Qatari Riyal, would be somewhere around 21 rupees. Right now it might fluctuate, but it's 20. It was 21 rupees till March. So 1 Qatari Riyal. The demographics over here, one thing very, very important, what travelers look forward to is it feasible for me? Can I see something like, if I meet people, is it easy to commute? Because there are places like, if you go to the European side, it's for Indians, especially travelers, first-time travelers, it's very difficult to travel. I'm talking by experience, and I have traveled with groups and travelers. So it's very difficult when you go to France. Like, if you want to eat vegetarian food, how would you know? These people can't speak English. They might just tell you it's vegetarian, but vegetarian for them would be like eggs. So for us, it's if you're a pure vegetarian, you would not want to eat that. So you have to be so you have to find a city or a country which is which speaks English, which speaks the neutral language. And in regards to this, there are 2.83 million people, home to 85 nationalities. So you will not only find people from India or the subcontinent, you'll find people from Australia, you'll find people from UK, you'll find people from America. Reason being, lots and lots of investment ideas, lots of investment opportunities in Qatar. Okay, so as I mentioned, official language is Arabic, but English is widely spoken. So 98.5% people speak, write, talk English. Okay, so they all are very learned people. They have a good knowledge and grasp on English. So traveling over there, if you want to commute by your own, is not a problem. Now, 6 things to know about Qatar. The per capita GDP. Now, if you ask me what exactly is like, how are we first in Arab world, has it mentioned, second worldwide, as I said, we are fluctuating. It fluctuates with Luxembourg, which is a city, a country which is small city of might be 500,000 inhabitants in Europe, and it was one of the richest countries. And Macau is one other city because of its casinos. So yes, did somebody ask the question? Okay. So as I was saying that
I would request the participants that we can have the question answer session in the last, right?
yes,
So we should refrain in asking anything to break the flow of the presentation. So we can have a question answer session in the last.
thank you.
Yeah, please.
Sure. So as I was saying that it's one of the richest, and it's one of the safest countries in the world too. Safest countries, it's been rated by United Nations as in regards to natural disasters. So if I want to travel there, there's 0.1% of any natural calamity happening in Qatar. So that's why it's one of the safest in regards to even commuting for women, for families to travel late in the night. It's absolutely safe. Yeah, no crime rates also. Hospitality, guest experience. We are first in the Middle East. This is on the OTT platform, that is an online platform where people have given their guest experiences like Booking.com, TripAdvisor. So all these places have given us this top rating. It's a very good subtropical desert climate to travel. So the travel time would be somewhere around September to April, May. Now, when I say September, or I can say even travel in August, it's not that hot compared to other destinations because it is closer to the European destination. So say a Cyprus would be just 2.5 hours, max 3 hours to travel from there. So it's a very moderate climate. It's not that hot compared to other desert climate. As I mentioned, making sports history, the first Middle Eastern country to host the FIFA World Cup. It's been rated as by Forbes the top 15 places to visit in 2019. So you can understand why people are traveling. What is the benefits you'll see. So whenever you're trying to speak to a corporate, or you're trying to speak to a client, a family who are traveling to Qatar or any destination, the first thing they would ask is, now might be they stay in Hyderabad, or might be they stay in Delhi, might be they have some family members, or as corporates have their offices pan India. Now, the first thing they would always ask is, how will you take my clients? How will you take your clients from this hub to that destination? So the first thing you think about is accessibility and connectivity. Now, somebody did mention about Qatar Airways. Now, Qatar Airways is one of the top airlines in the world. It's won the Skytrax Award 5 times. That is one of the highest in comparison with any airline, and it is it's a 5-star airline. The accessibility, the connectivity is to many hubs. So when I say the flying time is only to from India, is from Mumbai is 3.5 hours. From Delhi would be 4 hours. So very less connected flying time. One thing very important is it's also connecting to hubs. So your client would be, oh wow, this is what I'm looking for. So if I'm selling a product, this is the first thing you need to keep in mind. Okay, what is the accessibility? Do some homework of how did it all start, or just give them a small brief of what the country is all about. So that would help you, get the confidence from your client. Now, thriving sectors for economic growth. This is for business. If your client is looking for business opportunities, this is what a country has to offer. So Qatar has to offer a lot of economic. There's a lot of economic growth. Now, if you want, the next thing what you need to see is the staying possibility. Where would the client want to stay? If it's a honeymoon couple, you'll give them some honeymoon suite. You'll give them, a water bungalow. If it's in Maldives or something, we do have it in Qatar too. I'll show you later on in the slide. And if you're looking for 5-star, 4-star, so you will keep on asking these questions. So these are basic things which you need to ask whenever you're trying to convince a client. Okay, so the client is very happy that, oh, this guy knows his job well. So again, hospitality. So we have 134 outstanding hospitality options and hotels, which is in Qatar. It's a modern hub with deep cultural roots. Now, if I'm going only to see concrete jungle, okay, that is not what my whole agenda is. So you need to ask clients, sir, what is your travel? How do you want it? Do you want to go to a historic place? Do you want to go to a place which which has skyscrapers, which has adventure sports? So what are you looking for? So Qatar has modern hub also, and we have a lot of history and architectural marvel. So you will see that. As I also mentioned, state-of-the-art venues, which the client would be like an wow factor. There has to be something there for the clients which he will look forward to. Okay. So let's get into the most important thing, the accessibility and connectivity. Okay. Now, Qatar connects to most parts of the world. This is just to give you a brief of how far is Qatar from other destinations. Like London is 7.5 hours, Paris is 7 hours, Singapore 8 hours, New York is 14 hours. If you see, Qatar is right at the center of the map. So its accessibility from east to west is pretty good. And Delhi, as mentioned, is 4 hours travel time. Now, the flights which we have, now obviously client will say, Acha, I'm staying in some place in Cochin, or some place in, from far off city, 1 hour away from Cochin. So you will have to always know these things, or you might be having notes of it, like which country you're going to, and then you'll have you'll have to do these things set by set. Like if he wants to travel, so there is a flight coming from Cochin. There's a flight which goes from to Qatar from Cochin. So there's a flight from Chennai. So now besides Qatar, we also have other flights like Indigo. We have 64 flights. So these are weekly flights. Okay, just for your knowledge, 102 weekly flights, not daily. 102 weekly flights, which we have from Qatar Airways. Indigo has 64 flights. Air India has 25 flights, and Go Air, which was going to fly from April because of the COVID situation, it's been postponed to July, I think. So we've not got the exact confirmation, but yes, Mumbai, it did start, but then it had to stop abruptly. So Go Air is now started from Mumbai and will continue from other hubs too. Okay. Now, five-star airlines. Obviously, right now at this situation, what is that the airlines will offer? Okay. So it's a five-star airline. We are looking forward to keeping you safe when you're traveling with masks. Masks will be provided. Everything will be sanitized. Okay. Food will be packaged in a very better manner. Then, so all these things, even the Hamad International Airport, which is one of the top, it's rated as the number 3, that's 3 in the world best airports. Okay, and I wouldn't know what's 1 and 2 because I know about Qatar, but as I said, Hamad International Airport has been rated as the top 3 in the top 3 of the best airports in the world. So it's again a 5-star airport with lots and lots of things where a client will look forward to, like lounges, better service. We're also looking out for artificial. Now we started artificial intelligence in regards to immigration. We all know what immigration is. If when you travel, you need to show your passport to the authority. That's the police officer or immigration officer, who will check your passport if you can travel to their country. Or in India, they will check if you're eligible with a visa to travel to Qatar. Okay. Now, obviously, the first thing again, which a client looks forward to is the visa procedures. Now, if a client wants to travel to US, he will obviously have to go through an interview. He has to go through a rough procedure. I mean, questions will be asked. We'll be checking your IT returns and all these things. The best part about traveling to Qatar is that you do not need a visa. So India is part of the 80 countries and territories can enter Qatar visa free. So you do not have a visa problem here. So traveling to Qatar, absolutely, free. Okay. Now there is a small catch which I need to mention. Now, when you're traveling, if you have traveled and if you've not traveled, when you get a passport, अगर आप travel कर रहे हो and you need a passport, right, to travel, in the passport depends on your eligibility. If you are a graduate and depending on if your documents have not been given, the Indian government will put in mentioning that an immigration check required. If the person is traveling, this certain people will be having a stamp, need a stamp that is mentioning that immigration check required. That stamp, if that stamp is there, then the person traveling to Qatar will need a visa. Now, this is a rule by the Indian government because many people go to Middle Eastern countries and certain places across the world to travel for work. So they go there for without a visa and all, and then they start working. So obviously it's illegal. So the Indian government has made this rule that if you're traveling to a place with visa-free destination, if you have an immigration check required, that depends from country to country, especially to the Middle Eastern, you are not allowed. Okay, you will need a visa from that country. Now you can get a visa. We give you a visa in 2 days' time. It's a small amount of 1800 rupees, which you pay and you get a visa. Okay, there is again no problem. So if your clients have to travel and has an immigration check required, then you have to tell the client, so ma'am, that you'll need to take a visa because by your passport, or sometimes what happens, the client changes their passport because they might have made their passport 10 years back when might be they're not a graduate or some reason. So that's when they did not submit some documents. So they have this check. If they change their passport or they're changing it, then you have to give it to them. Then they will not have an issue. And in that, if it's not given as an immigration check. Okay. So that's one of the most important thing any client. So if the client wants to travel, especially now when the COVID situation, not going to an interview or making visas, the hassle of going through all that, the best thing is traveling without a visa is a destination which the clients will choose first. And again, closer to India. So again, Qatar is one destination. Now, as I was talking about architectural marvel, you can see this is exactly how it looks. Okay. And this is an actual photograph of Qatar National Convention Center. It is one of the largest, okay, in the Middle Eastern, with 40,000 square meter of column-free exhibition, 4,000 seat conference, 2,300 seat area. So when you are in the trade fair division, say if you're traveling where you have clients want to go there for business, like might be a huge plastic trade fair or might be petroleum trade fair. Okay, this is also another line which you can, when you get into companies, there you will come to know that many of these industrialists, many of the small-time industries want to travel to other countries to make trade relations. Okay, that's where again travel comes into play. So we as Qatar host a lot of these exhibitions. Okay, trade fairs and exhibition. If you've not been to, or if you've been to, you'll understand. If you've not been to, so these are trade relations which countries like Germany, Singapore, and other parts, even India, in Delhi, if you know, in Pragati Maidan, all the time you have these trade fairs happening, exhibitions happening. So this is one of the exhibition center which we have, our convention center. So many of the corporates are looking for product launch. One of our corporates in India, a very huge, what do you say, automobile like Hyundai, was wanting to do their product launch in this convention center with more than 1,000 plus people wanted to travel. But unfortunately, because of COVID, they have postponed. But so I'm just saying that there are many ideas which you can give clients if you have a corporate client. This is more to do with corporates and industrial, small industry people traveling. Yeah. Then if you are now, the Qatar National Convention Center is located a little outside of the city of Doha. If you're looking out for the city center, then there's Doha Exhibition and Convention Center. Now if you have corporates traveling, or if you have weddings, if you have a friend's wedding, if you want to recommend somebody, or if you want clients, or if you're in the wedding department of travel, it's a big business. Many lots and lots of weddings are taking place in Qatar. Lots of so for that you will need ballrooms. Okay, so that is where we have more than 11 ballrooms which are more than 1,000 square meter of space. So again, opportunities for travel like weddings, corporate gala evenings, parties. If you want a product launch, again you can do that in these ballrooms. Now, as I was mentioning, the water bungalows. That this is something which is very unique. You will not find it in many other Middle Eastern countries or only specific islands. But we made our own island, which is called the Banana Island. Okay, where you have these water bungalows. This is an exact photograph, an actual photograph of the site. And so we had a very unique clientele where top management of a very big company in India, MNC in India, traveled, and we made them stay individually in each of these water bungalows. And it was a surreal experience for them. Also, we have many, we give these suites for honeymoon. If they have, weddings taking place in Qatar, we give them these water bungalows to stay. Okay, so 135 outstanding hospitalities. This is a cost. I won't get into this. This is just a gist. I'll be sharing the presentation with Mr. Lama. And if you want, you all can go through it later. This is just to give you an average cost of how much it is if you're traveling to Qatar, like from 5 stars 140. This all depends on the time you travel, how many people are you traveling with. Okay, all differs in the price. Again, a bifurcation of how many hotels are there. We have 134 hotels mentioned before. 103 hotels coming up on the right hand side. If you see hotels and apartments coming up, and so 5-star hotels, as I said, like there are 29 five-star hotels. All hotel apartments, and 49 5-star, 27 4-star. So it's just giving you a gist of and bifurcation of all the properties. Now, very unconventional properties. People want outdoor events. There are many people who if clients want to travel, these are for corporates. we have that too. Okay, this is what I was talking about. If you're in the trade fair department, do go through it whenever you have the time to see how it's a big business for trade fairs where getting clients. You can be working for a company, any travel company, and they have this department where they send business heads, where travel business heads to these places depending on what it is. Like might be there's petroleum. If we are part of a petroleum company, then we have this. So all the travel arrangements, everything is taken care. Okay, and we as Qatar National Council will take care of all their visas or whatever needed. Yeah? Thriving sectors, again, economic growth. We are largest LNG exporter, first in Arab for education. Lots and lots of student groups coming into Qatar and seeing all our educational facilities. We have lots of museums where they can look into amusement parks, shopping. So Qatar is ranked as the top 25 in the world in regards to health. Okay, science and technology, as I said, we have a artificial intelligence driven immigration. So you don't need a person there. You will just need to show your passport to the robot. It sees your passport. It'll ask you questions on the screen. Just have to answer it and move. So this is specially done. One of the most important reasons is because of the World Cup. We'll be having a huge turnout of people coming into Qatar in Doha. So we are doing this by AI, artificial intelligence. Sports, as I said, urban development, we've got now metro connecting to most parts of Qatar. So just to give you a map, okay, lots of things. As I said, Qatar National Convention Center on the left-hand side is a little far from the city. The West Bay is where the hotels are. The Doha Exhibition Center is next to the Marriott properties. Okay, we have the Museum of Islamic Art, Souk Waqif, Hamad International Airport, which is half an hour away from the city. Again, now that is also the client which you need to know how far is your airport from the city. So clients will ask you that also, is that how far is the airport? How much time will it take for me if I've come from a flight? They are tired, right? And they want to go to the hotel. So I need to know because I need to take rest. So these are the things again. So innovative incentives, I mean, for clients, what does Qatar offer for visitors? We have beach activities, we have shopping, dining, arts and culture. Now, this is one of the very famous monuments. If you're traveling, if you've in Mumbai, if you might have seen Haji Ali, which has been built on the shores of the Mumbai shores. So the same is done over here, Museum of Islamic Art. It is being built. So when you see it from the city of Doha, it looks like it's on the sea. Okay, floating on the sea. So it's an absolute work of art. Okay, it's history of Islam. What are the things there during the ages? How it was done? How it was formed? So it's about that. The next museum is very much recommended by me. This is a National Museum of Qatar. It shows you the history of Qatar. It is not a typical museum. It's a museum with 3D art. It's a museum with virtual reality. It's a museum which is for this age, where people, when they get into it, they are awed by the surreal experience. Okay, so this is something which is recommended. The architecture, if you see, is made in a form of a desert rose. Okay, a desert rose which is formed in the alleys, that is in caves in deserts. So it's very unique rose. If you read about it, you will get to know more about what I'm talking about, the desert rose. Okay, this is one of the ports which also you can use in your itinerary. Okay, so Qatar was, before 1971, the economy of Qatar, okay, was pearl fishing. Most of the Arab nations, so pearls which we wear, the jewelry, so pearls were found in most of the Arabian seas. So pearl fishing was it was part of the economy. That's how the economy is run for Qatar. 1971, as soon as the British left, 1972, we found oil. Now, I don't know how was that. Might be it was a conspiracy, but good for us. So in 1972, we found oil. By 1980, we found natural gas. So this is one of the ports which is, it's made into a museum where you can go ahead and see. Now again, another fort. This is Al Zubra Fort. It is 45 minutes drive to reach there. On the way, we have a lot of spas where clients, if you have clients, you can always tell them that, so if an itinerary which you feel like is just getting repeated, what are you going to do new for the client? What is something which you can and add, as I said, a wow factor for the client? So we had these top management. We have many clients who travel to Al Zubra Fort. We give them an optional tour, or an option that they can choose. Okay, so that happens. You can always excite the client, saying, "Oh wow, this is what you offer me." So other clients are not, other tour operators are not doing it. So always, whenever you're making an itinerary, you're making a presentation, always ask for what is the wow factor there. Okay, so there are spas when you're going on the way to Al Zubra Fort. So after going, might be it's in the desert, so it might be hot, it might be humid, and when they're coming, they might be tired. So you can take them to the spa, let the clients go ahead and use a body massage or whatever they want to choose, and come back to their hotels where will they feel relaxed and better. Again, going to an Arab country, you have mosque where you can go in. It's a sightseeing. Obviously, wearing the proper clothing is when you get the entry. Now, this is a very unique sightseeing which is there. It's called the East-West, West-East by Richard Serra. Okay, it's an outdoor open air museum. Okay, where you have a camel ride for somewhere around 45 minutes to an hour. After that, the best part is at the end of the journey, it goes down to the sea. Okay, it's a beautiful sight. Imagine the desert meeting the sea. Okay, and where you can have a barbecue lunch, or you might have high tea. So this is an extra thing, again, a wow factor for the clients. Always remember, sightseeing, I'm adding the lunch or a high tea for the clients. So this is a surreal experience. Imagine seeing the landscapes. Imagine seeing archaeological sites on the way. Okay, the history of how thousands of years back the formation of it was an ocean bed before. So all these things will be explained by a guide who will be, and with an awesome camel ride. Music is very much part of Qatar. Now this is also a souk waqif. Now if you've never traveled to a Middle Eastern country, we always have a souk. Now what is a souk? A souk is a place where people meet. It's a market, okay, where people come, gather, buy spices, buy gold, jewelry. There are restaurants. So exactly how it is. But one thing very important over here in Qatar, we always live up to that, is it is a very clean destination. Cleanliness is at the highest order. You will not find dirt or garbage thrown over here. We are very strict with our laws. Okay, if you see on the left hand side on top is those are boutique hotels. So if you have few clients who are coming or want to stay in the city with the whole crowd area, get the feel of it, you can always recommend these boutique hotels for them. A very nice, quaint place which you can recommend. Close by from here is the Dow Cruise too. So lots of activities happening every day. Some magical, a magician or a juggling act or music sung. So lots of things happen. Now, let me let you see this photograph for some time to get the awe of what you see. Right? There are only two like these desert inland seas in the world. One is in Namibia, the other one is in Qatar. I don't know if you've heard about Namibia, but I'm sure you've heard about Qatar. So this is something which is unique. Now, if you have a desert, what are we doing with it? We will take you on a 4x4, a car, okay, a huge, a Mahindra 4 XUV cars. So over here, it's the cruisers which we have. So it's a 4x4 where it takes you on a safari. Imagine falling 30 feet, okay, from the sand dunes, 30 feet, okay, and I mean in the car. It's a fantastic surreal experience which you will get. So you have to imagine telling your clients and showing this photograph to them and saying that this is how you will see. So imagine going down the sand dunes and seeing on your left hand side the sea and the desert which you are on. Okay, we have camps over there where we take you after the safari. We take you to a desert camp where there is food organized for you. There's lunch or dinner organized for you, barbecue food. There's also, you can go swimming. You can also do water sports activities over there, like jet ski, parasailing, paragliding. You can do parasailing also in the desert. So lots of opportunities there. Adventure sports enthusiasts will love this, and I'm sure the adults. It's absolutely safe for people who are who have any problem. Also, we have another route to take them from if they want to see just a desert camp. So those things can be organized also for the clients. Okay, so this is called the Coral Day Inland Sea. Okay. Now this is also again a surreal photograph where you see the skyscrapers, you see the whole skyline of Qatar. Okay, it's a dhow cruise which takes you across the inland sea and will show you these sites. Okay, we have food. Food can be arranged for clients, where clients can enjoy with light music. In the night, it's beautiful when all the skyscrapers are lit up. Now, this over here is called the Pearl Qatar. Remember, I was mentioning that pearl fishing is one of the top economies before. This is the same spot where they used to go fishing. Now they've made an artificial island, which is 4 million square meters, okay, and where foreigners can invest, like people from India or America can come and buy land, okay. So it's made into a shape of a pearl. And it's a fantastic place where cruises come. We have cruises coming from other parts of the world, docking in Qatar, where people can fly, go around, also take a flight back to their city, stay over here. And one thing very, very important is there's lots of nightlife. There's lots of restaurants, lots of Indian restaurants where clients can go through. Okay. So shopping, as I mentioned, it's duty-free shopping. So it's very cheap shopping. So again, you have to tell your clients, these are the things which are there. The shopping is good. The sightseeing is good. It's pretty cheap. The travel is pretty cheap. There are desert safaris. There are amusement parks. So each mall, most of the malls have amusement parks. I'm sure everyone's heard about Angry Birds, right? So Angry Birds, the game. So we have the first and the biggest Angry Birds amusement park, which is an indoor and outdoor amusement park in Qatar. There's also an Aladdin amusement park. There's water park which is also there. So lots of things there for children, for even for adults, and for adventure enthusiasts. I did mention about the spas. Now, Indian restaurants. First thing which any Indian who is traveling will want to know what is their cuisine available. All the cuisines of the world is available in Qatar, okay, with top quality. As I mentioned, we do not compromise with quality. Okay, we are aware everything is clean, the food is absolutely delicious, and the food which is made of is also top quality. So all those things taken into consideration, as I mentioned, the clients would be very happy. So these are the things which you again have to mention when you're telling the clients. Now, something which is unique, which I've never done before in my own country, is a camel racing. And I'm just saying that these are again top things which you can put. You can have people see a camel race, no betting obviously, but just a unique experience of camel racing. Now, again, something again unique is I've never played golf in my life. I've always seen people playing. Oh, it's so easy. But the first time when I tried it, I actually felt how difficult it is. It's not an easy game to play. There's a lot of technique involved. So we had a lot of these top management clients who wanted to do team building activities. There is an option for them. Also outdoor activities they can do, and they were taught to play golf. It was something which was really applauded. Clients loved this. The Al Takira mangroves. Now this is where, if you want to do kayaking, you have a small family or a small group of friends who want to do some adventure sports, this can be also organized. Now, after that, we take you to this place at the Pearl, okay, where you can do swimming, you can do team building activities for your corporates, you can do parasailing, jet ski, all these things. Again, this is something unique which no other Middle Eastern country gives you. We have other things also like skydiving. We have Other things like, as I said, desert safari, parasailing, which is nice, and desert surfing. So again, these are the things which we offer in Qatar. Okay. Uh, if you have clients in the future, or if you want to come there and set up business, or if your family or friends or anyone wants to do it, we are always there to help you. If you're looking out for any kind of student program or any kind of travel program also, we are here to help. Okay, to get you what Qatar has to offer. We have fam trips, we have clients who are traveling also, we can arrange that for you. Okay. So what are fam trips? Fam trips are where, if you're working for a company, we will organize trips for people from each company, like, top people who are main sellers or top sellers, to travel and come to Qatar for free. I mean, we'll take care of all your arrangements, and so these are things, terminologies which you need to know. Okay, where these people, these are fam trips organized by tourism boards. Fam trips will be organized by hotels, like free trip for you, because we want you to see our country, we want to see our hotel. So these are things which you will get when you work in travel companies. Okay, where it's an opportunity, so that when you come back, we want you to sell our destination. So we organize these fam trips for clients and for tour operators. We also organize, if you're looking out for events, say if a client is wanting to do a musical event, or might be for incentive, or might be he wants to getting associated with one of the events, so you can do that too. We help you with that, and with giving you details of those clients. Okay, so yep, these are just for licenses if you're getting into it. So yeah, as I was saying, these are the things which we offer in Qatar. I hope you like the presentation, and I hope it was something which was the need for the hour, where to know what are the closer destinations. If you have people traveling, how will you tell them what are the benefits there? I would like to end is with a small video. Okay, I want to show you what are the measures taken by Qatar. Especially for during the COVID period. Okay, just see the video.
The world around us has changed and placed new challenges to the travel experience. At Hamad International Airport, we have embraced the change and elevated our safety measures. We are adopting new wearable intelligent technology. Smart screening helmets are safe and effective. It uses advanced technologies like infrared thermal imaging, artificial intelligence, and augmented reality display. Staff will continue to be screened, as well as passengers, at arrival and boarding points. We have also introduced disinfection robots, which reduce the spread of infectious germs in crucial areas using ultraviolet light. Thorough sanitization and disinfection will continue to take place at all high contact areas. Baggage handling belts, trolleys, and tubs will be routinely disinfected. All departing, arriving, and transferring baggage will be disinfected as well. Hand sanitizers will be made available at all key locations. Social distancing of 1.5 meters will continue to be established through floor markings, clear signage, and implementing distance seating. We are here, and we are ready to provide you with a safe journey in the future, so that you can travel with confidence once again.
Yes, so that was the presentation of how we're going to take care of our travelers I'm now open for questions. So you can ask me any questions you want, anything to
Uh,
try. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative session. I think nobody could have explained Qatar better than you, starting from the history to the present scenario and to the future developments. So I think we are open for the question and answer round. So guys, you can shoot your question to Mr. Sunil Paul in the comment section. So in the comment section, the questions will be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I think there's one question
Mhm.
from a student, Rishabh Raj.
Okay. One question. Oh yeah. Okay. Guys, thank you for the session. The question is, what should a tourism student do to get a job in tourism board? For countries also, what was the procedure in your case? So now the first thing is a very good question actually. If you are looking for any kind of jobs at tourism board, if firstly getting a job in tourism board, you need to be uh, thorough with your marketing skills. One thing is like, do you have information with other tour operators? So a direct job opportunity would only you would only get it with tourism boards is when it like if you have to do a clerical job or something. Why? Reason being is if you want to get a job with tourism board into marketing, you need to know tour operators. So I would suggest jumping directly into tourism boards wouldn't help. What you need to do is start with your basics. Right now is learn as much as you can, ask as much questions as you can to your professors, irritate them. I would suggest. Reason being is because you now is a time for you to learn, and especially now because everyone's learning. And get into your basics. If you know your basics well, like countries, I've traveled to more than 50 plus countries. Uh, there were certain countries which I never knew. I've never traveled. I had to travel just immediately. Okay, clients are going, you have to go, Sunil, and I had to travel. This is way back when I started my career. So that's when I started learning. I never thought of I was going to get into a tourism board. Yes, it was always back of my mind, but my goal first was to learn the basics. So this is something which I would recommend everybody is get to know as much as possible, because when you're on job, and the more you show your bosses, your colleagues, that the way you're working, they would be impressed with you, because it all drops down to how you've learned in a college, in your institute, wherever you're studying. You have to get your basics right, and I'm sure the professors and all are doing their best. But at times what happens is we just go at it as it's just studies, I don't want to get into it. But remember, this is your future. When you were in school, it was something which was mostly people were upset that I had to study and all that. But when you're getting into an institute where you're doing MBA, where you're doing your studies, where you're doing your college and all, this is something which you have chosen and you want to pursue. So do not take this lightly. These years you will not get it back, because I also studied. I have done my studies from Zurich in an academy, Coani Academy, and I've done my hospitality over there. I've stayed there, and it was a surreal experience. But for me, it was very difficult. That's when I realized tourism is not easy. I had to live away from my family and all these things, but it was difficult for me at the start. So what happened is I started getting more and more confidence. It's the first time leaving my family, staying there all alone, cooking, learning, eating different meals. I was not used to eating continentally, but I had to. Kitna Chinese, Chinese is not even continental, it's Indian. But that's what I was used to. But over here, it was different Chinese. It was so much different. So you have to build it right now. You have to put it in your head that it is going to take time. You can't just jump into tourism boards. Many people want to do it. Yes, if you get an opportunity, if there is an opportunity, apply for it. They might first, if I in our tourism board, the first thing we are looking for is people who would do the office work, who would know how to make presentations. So build that skills of making presentations, build that skills of how to make itineraries. Like as I said, now might be a country like Russia, might be a country like Sri Lanka. What are the things, benefits which are there? So you have to make a full-fledged good itinerary for your bosses, for your clients. So they should be impressed. And that's how it works, because you have to work hard to know, you have to put in effort to do something. And as I said, my journey was, I got into a travel company. I got into companies like, Huoni. I got into companies like SBC. I got into companies like, all these are all different companies. And finally, after that, I went into a tourism board, which is, again, lots and lots of work. Marketing is not easy. I mean, I have, people who know a lot about, who are with the tourism. So I have my database well. Now, how did I build the database? Not by only having an Excel sheet with people's numbers. They know me. It's because of years of experience. It happens. And that is how you will build. You'll have to go for events. You'll have to meet, so these things, whenever you get an opportunity, like if things open up, if there's an event happening, go, pay 100 rupees or whatever, but get cards, get visiting cards, so that you learn more about it. If you think that, this is going to be boring, if you have that mindset, then things won't work out. There has to be an urge for you to learn. Okay, Tapas, I hope I've answered, Rishabh, your question. Thank you so much for an amazing, you're most welcome, Tapas. Surya, has jobs and opportunities. What extra hard work someone has to put to ground. Well, again, onto a job. What I would suggest is, see, the job is a factor. And no job is secure. I mean, tomorrow even mine, anyone else's. Okay, but my question is that things will be better. Okay, everything's going to be all right in the next 3 to 4 months. The government is trying their best to push these things. Travel market is opening up. Intercity has opened up, as you all know. The travel market will open up. Remember that we cannot grow as a country, we cannot grow as a city without travel. Travel is an integral part of us, and it has to work. We have to take precautions, but have to start traveling. And this is going to happen. There was a survey which was done by the Indian travelers. 63% people are going to travel in the next 2 months, after 2 months. Okay. So they've also spoken about vaccines and all that. But see, remember that people are getting cured also. Don't think about the time that, it's been infected with, but people are getting cured. It's like a normal flu, but yes, a little more harsher, but we have to, overcome and take precautions. Yeah. We have to be very careful when we are traveling. So everything is taken care of and sanitized. So jobs will be available. That's, as I said, if asked us as professionals, what is the best, what you want to do? We wish we were in schools and colleges, okay, studying right now. Because by the time you finish your college, by the time you start applying, okay, everything will be back to normal. And you will get a lot of opportunities. There's lots and lots of opportunities. There are, when I started, the travel companies were very less. But I'm just saying that I'm not talking about 20 years back. I'm just talking about 7 to 8 years back. It was, the opportunities were less. But now there are so many travel companies which will give you a lot of opportunities. And you need to understand what you're good at first. Now is the time to realize that. Am I good at operations? Am I good at sales? Am I an aggressive person? So you might be good at sales. Am I aggressive? I like, social media. I like to see the ads in social. Don't look into social media for, videos, other things. Look at social media, how the ads done. So now is the time to learn, go into Google ads. So if you know the basics of how people are advertising their tourism, people are advertising their products, that's how you learn and later on that, it might be helpful for you. Might be you'll get into marketing. Might be you'll like that field. Might be you'll get into operations. Yeah. Might be you'll get into sales. So I have done like everything. So for me, it was like the best part is that I want to learn everything. And if you can do that for the first 2 years, nothing like it. I mean, you need to know travel if you're in all departments, because operations is totally different from sales. Sales do their selling part. Operations have to check client list. What are the names of travelers? What are the hotel rooms need to be booked? Is it a double room or is it a single room? Is it a 5-star hotel? Is it a 4-star hotel? Is a client is a honeymoon client, so we need to do arrangements for them. So all these things are there. Yeah. Yep. So who else? 1 minute, yeah. Just went a little. Thank you. Okay, I hope I've answered that, Surya. Madhu, as can you please give me an email ID? Yes, I will. You can speak to Ms. Lama, and I'm sure he will share that. Okay? I have given all the details to Mr. Lama. Does Qatar, Sangeeta, does Qatar get leisure tourists from India? What may be the percentage and give comparison with MICE tourists as well? A very good question, Sangeeta. We have a lot of leisure tourists traveling. Okay, we have lots of people in MICE travel. So, like in a year, you could say at least in a week, I could suggest we have more than 2,000 to 3,000 people traveling for leisure travel. Okay, in a week, that's a weekend. Okay, and if you take an overall thing like people traveling, it might be in like 50, 60,000 or lakhs, because across India, many people come for work, many people come for leisure, many people come for business. So if you're taking MICE and all, it would be in lakhs, like only in a weekend. Recently we hosted Karan Johar and his his production house. We also had celebrities coming over. We had uh, uh, Sonam Kapoor come for a jewelry exhibition, a trade fair happening. So we have lots of Karan Johar is going to start his mini series. I think it's on Netflix, which is going to come. He's not said which platform is it on, but he's going to start a mini series which is going to be in the shooting is going to take place in Qatar. So you come for a Reiki. A Reiki is where people come to check if how is the country, what are the things there for for shooting and all that. So lots of people traveling. And MICE, we had few MICE groups in the last year in Feb and Jan, 550 and 250. I mean, it was Asian Paints group where we did a desert safari for them. We had sightseeing for them. They came on a cruise. So a cruise ride was where they came into Qatar. They did a whole day sightseeing and they left the next day. So MICE groups also there. I hope I've answered that, Sangeeta. Madhu Smita is a PG compulsory to do for a job? Yes, yes, it is. See, remember, the more education you have, the more opportunities you'll get to go higher. Now, say I don't have any education. Okay, I'm just a graduate and I've traveled. I've got into a company. Now I reach to a point where I am a general manager, and I'm a general manager for past 5 years. But there are people who are younger than me and who have less experience than me are already become a VP. Okay, which is happening. I've seen this. So that's when you realize that education is very, very, very important. And that's when these people want to go ahead and do their MBA, they want to do their PG degree, so on and so forth. So education is a must, okay, to climb the ladder. First, you might think it's too much of money, too much of time, but trust me, now is the time when you actually start studying, because by the time you are older, you will not have that patience or time to, because you have to earn, to work, and then study too. So it's going to be difficult. So yes, absolutely true. You have to do the PG. Rishabh, yeah, thank you. Pakshi, as you know, that Qatar and Dubai offer almost same kind of tourism program. How is Qatar better than Dubai as a tourist destination? Well, as good question. Well, if you compare, as I said, there are many things which Qatar offers that Dubai doesn't. Like one thing is that the most important thing is the visa. We are a destination which gives free visa for clients, which Dubai doesn't. We have places like the desert safari, which is very unique. There's something which Dubai doesn't. They do have a desert safari, but it's just sand dunes and getting into a desert safari. One thing which, as I said, our hotels are absolutely good. Quality wise, really, really good. Even if you take a 3-star hotel, you compare it with other Dubai properties, the 3-star hotels in Qatar is far more better. As I said, it has been rated as #1 in the Middle Eastern country. It's been rated as the safest country. It has been, there are again lots and lots of sightseeing, okay, which are coming up. Okay, We have amusement parks, we have desert safari, we have Dow cruise. So in regards to unique, we have we do not compromise on quality. It might be a little expensive. I can only vouch and tell you is that when you see Qatar, you will have a different opinion. People compare it with European destinations, with the architecture, with the cleanliness, with the people around. You know, you find lots of foreigners, you find lots of Americans, people. It's like a different world. It's not like other Middle Eastern countries. Yes, we do have a culture and things there, but it's very clean and safe. So that's why, and it's not crowded at all. So why would I want to send my client where they come back saying, "Arey yaar, it was quality itna acha nahi tha. It was so dirty, so crowded. Hard time we had to stand in line. We have there was nothing there for us. I didn't want my kids to stand in line." So all these things have to be taken into consideration, and that's why we have. These are the things which I find it unique compared to Dubai. I don't want to compare it with Dubai is because our packages are a little more expensive than Dubai. The reason being, as I said, we do not compromise on quality. Clients who come back are the ones who you would, they would always have feedback saying that we just love Qatar and we want to come back. And people come on weekends, okay? We have clients coming on Friday, going on Friday, and coming back on Sunday or Monday morning, because shopping is cheaper compared to even Dubai. Yes, as I said it, we have something called as Shop Qatar, which is there in November and December, but during other times also it's much cheaper. I didn't even know, one of my clients told me that he bought a phone which was in other countries, and he found it much cheaper in Qatar. So yes, that's again, these are the things which I would suggest it's much far more better than the other Gulf countries. Okay. Madhusweta, what skills do you require for MICE industry? Well, I think everything is covered in your curriculum, in your institute. Those are the skills required. I mean, you don't need. See, travel is something which is very similar. I mean, whatever field you're getting into in travel, it's a similar thing. Like if you're getting into leisure or MICE, only thing is you have to be more presentable. You need to have a better understanding of what companies are there, like industries are there, where you need to who to tap. Like if you're going into corporate, like the MICE travel, you will need to tap the procurement department. You will need to go to the admin department, because now if I have a big company and I want my travel arrangements done, so I'll speak to the admin. Okay, arrange for 50 people. These are the top winners. Send them to Qatar. Send them to Sri Lanka. Yeah. So send them to any domestic country. So I have to speak to the admin department. So if you have any requirements, let me know. I'll send you an email. So again, these are things you need to build contacts. You have to go and meet them. You have to go to industries and meet them. So MICE is more broad. It's more with volume is more. Leisure, the volume is less compared to you're having only 2 people traveling, or you have group travel, and it's more. You have 50 people traveling at one go. So here in MICE, you have 500 people, 1,000 people. I have taken a MICE group for 2,000 people. 1,800, sorry, to be exact. Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, 1,800 people to travel. So it was a huge movement. I've taken people to 2,000 people to Amsterdam. I've taken 2,000 people to Russia. Okay, Aditya Birla Group, Yes Bank. So all these things are there. I mean, we've done that, but it's a huge volume. So first, I would always suggest get into something first in leisure, get to know the basics, and then jump into MICE. If you want to do it, you can. There's no issue with it, but then again, you need to learn what the whole thing is all about. Yeah, hope I've answered that, Madhu. On presentation, thank you. Yes. Famous shopping. I don't know where Rimpa. I just, as I said, the shopping markets, as I said, is there is the souk, there is the free mall, the free trade mall. Then we have the mall. There's called a Villaggio mall. Villaggio mall is where you have the whole. If you've heard about Venice, it's made into a play. Mall is made into Venice, a little mini Venice, which has gondola rides inside the mall, which is attached to the amusement park that is called the indoor and outdoor Angry Bird amusement park. So lots of, we have the Chinese market, yeah. So lots of things there, yeah, in regards to shopping. We have the Aspire Park, which also has the shopping, outdoor shopping, which is there. Each and every, have the city center that's also there. So yeah, what is the scope, Madhusmita? What is the scope of digital marketing? Lots of scope, lots of scope. I mean, right now, if you can see, digital is the new future. So digital marketing with travel go hand in hand, and we are looking out for people. There are, every tourism board looks out for people into digital marketing. Every travel company looks out for digital marketing. So they have a section, a department looking out for digital marketing. So yes, there's scope. But with true tourism, now if you only know digital marketing, then you're working for an agency. But you have to know travel to know digital marketing. So I'm doing my digital. I'm learning digital marketing is to increase my knowledge of. Since I know tourism, how will I apply it with my ads? How will I apply it to which social media? So it's going to help. So tourism, travel and tourism knowledge needs needed. Yeah. Yes. So I think I've answered all your questions. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir. I think all the questions that were asked are extensively answered by you. So, sir, on the behalf of IITTM family, sir, I would like to thank you again for sparing your time and motivating the students of IITTM.
Most welcome.
So, sir, you can share your social media handle and the email ID so that if anybody has a doubt further, he can ask you, sir.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah. Great. I'll just write that. I just want to say, everybody, just concentrate on your studies, concentrate on your curriculum, pay attention, ask as much as questions as possible, because this is only going to increase your knowledge. And yes, I'll share my email ID. You can always
Yes, sir.
ask me any questions on it. It's my agency. One of the email ID. That's mine, and Sunil Paul Narona. You can add me on social media with this name. So you can, on Facebook or Instagram, you can. Okay, it's my full
Yes, sir.
name. Yeah, and thank you, Rishabh, thank you, Surya. It was great to give this presentation, and do get in touch with me in case of any thing you need and any advice you need. I'm always there, and all
Yes,
the
sir.
best. And hope to see you somewhere, sometime in a company. I am sure I've done that many times. It's happened, and it's gonna. I'm sure you will all pass out with flying colors. All the best.
Yes, sir. World, as we
Thank
say,
you,
the
Sunil.
world is
Thank you
quite
so
small.
much. And
So,
we wish
yes,
to
we can
receive
connect.
you once in our campus, once the lockdown is over,
Yeah,
so that the students can have an hands-on one-to-one interaction with you. Thank you so
ab-
much once again.
absolutely. Thank you so much.